The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them graves. They can tell me how we can do it together. When we look to the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting high. I wonder when it does now come rest. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them graves. We can tell me how.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party. The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them graves. They can tell me how we can do it together. When we look to the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting high. I wonder when it does now come rest. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them graves. We can tell me how.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party. The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them graves. They can tell me how we can do it together. When we look to the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting high. I wonder when it does now come rest. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them graves. We can tell me how.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
Jamaica, your voice matters now more than ever. If you're 18 or older, make sure you're enumerated and on the voters list by the 30th of September. This is your chance to shape our future. Don't let it slip away. Remember, your vote is your voice. Together, we can make the change we need. For more information, visit markgoldingja.com/voters-guide. Let's do this, Jamaica.
Hello, welcome. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to those in television land. Happy Friday to all our silent supporters. Happy Friday to everyone in the chat. As usual, hope everyone had a wonderful and productive week and looking forward to a restful weekend. Remember, guys, when you come in, thumbs up the live, share us out if you can. And if you're new to the channel, please show us some support by subscribing. That will be greatly appreciated. Tonight's topic, I see reports submitted to Parliament and government shopping.
All right.
And with your host, as usual, Baron and Anne-Marie, let me just go ahead and welcome those in the chat. Youngs, Truck Life, Beverly, Active Troopsy, Noreen McLean, Jean Royalty, Dorothy McCoy, Rennie Swaby, Loris Beckford, thank you for your continued support in terms of asking people to like up the live. The Isaacs family, Willie Dunn, Dolores Logan, Carla Ebanks, Monica Hall, Violet Watson, Rosalie Ricketts, Patel Cruikshank, Jeanette Letts, Merlin Bowman, Angela 48349, Lioness Dream, Fitzroy Palmer, hot off the press, blessings. She said, keep up the good work out here. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday to you, hot off the press. Much respect, and you keep the fire burning as well. Barris White, John Plu, Semanish One, welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. Thank you all so much for joining in. And I'm going to hand over to Baron so I can do some housekeeping, and I will welcome you guys as you come in. And as usual, if I lose control of the chat, then I will do an umbrella welcome.
All right. Thank you, Honey, for that usual solid precursor there. Right. And before I go any further, I want to, please acknowledge hot off the press, because we have, of course, our lioness, right, doing some, solid work. These ladies, they are out there, right? We have hot off the press. We have Anessa Bell Rose, right? Kamala Wright Mango, right? And people need to, just go over, recognize that they are doing solid work, and endorse their channel, right? Please endorse, right? For persons who have not subscribed, right, to these ladies who are standing and fighting. And let me say this, behind every strong man, right, we have strong women who drive those men. Right, many of the times that we the men, right, becomes victorious of certain issues, politics or whatever, right? Many of the times are the ladies behind us, right, giving us the strength, driving the energy. So please, right, endorse these ladies' channel. They are doing solid work. Now, obviously, let me say this to us all as it relates to, the diaspora and, of course, locally. Now, we are in a time where we have to understand that, our voice is going to be counted. And our voices are going to be counted is on election day. We will speak with our fingers, right? So make sure that persons being enumerated, ready and prepared, because we are in a time that we need the support, right, to vote out this corrupted government. And I'm not hesitating in saying that. We have all the facts and evidence as it relates to the corruption of this government. And so then, we have to make sure that we are listening, right, to all the information that you can listen to via social media, via mainstream media, right, and persons who are bringing the information, right? Now, what we always strive for is good governance, of course, right? And, we want to make sure that our leaders, right, have transparency, checks and balance, right? And those are the things that we drive for. Obviously, in this government, we have seen the political trickery, right? The promises that never been delivered, right? And all sort of method of madness, dictatorship style, and so forth. And so then Jamaica, we don't need that. Even the PSOJ recognize, right, the sort of bully tactics that this government has, right? We don't need that. And when you hear the PSOJ president coming out to say that the bullyism need to be toned down, right? Obviously, right? And so then we are here tonight. Now we have seen, right, that the Jamaica Labour Party try to paint a narrative, right? And let us get back there, because that was the narrative that they tried to paint, to say that JLP is, regulating good, solid policies, right? Macroeconomics, and all of that, and where the IMF has been supporting that narrative, right? We all know that when it comes to solid policies, of course, it is the People's National Party who had laid the foundation, right? We know that, of course, that Bruce Golden, right, between the period of 2009 to 2011, had crushed the economy. And it, of course, it takes Porter Simpson, it takes Peter Phillips, and take Mark Golden who legislate policies, right, to move forward, right? We have seen where the IMF turned, right, their back on us. So without any delay, I am going to play a clip in East Central in terms of the candidate, right, speaking about the very same thing that we speak, because we have the history, we have the record, we are not telling any lies, no misinformation, no disinformation. When we speak the truth. So without any delay, I want you to listen. The very same thing that I'm speaking about as it relates to the good trend setting by the People's National Party when it comes to moving a nation forward, nation building, right? You have seen where, of course, the JLP, from time and time, when the JLP being in government, right, we're facing dilemma, right, and where we have economic turmoil like what we have now, right? So while Nigel Clark is bragging, I am going to show, right, the Jamaican people that indeed we are in an economic turmoil. And that is one of many reasons as to why Nigel Clark ran away. We have known that SSL, right, to this date as we speak, cannot be explained, right? And so then we know that the budget shortfall, right, has not been explained, right? And so we see all these things. The FinSAC report had completed, and, right, the Jamaica Labour Party, who claimed that this People's National Party effect FinSAC, and I mean, they had finished, they had completed the report, and yet they don't want to show the public because obviously you know that they are lying, right? If the truth was in their corner, they would have shown the FinSAC report. So people who, you know, going on social media, spreading their propaganda as usual, right? We are going to show them, right? We're going to get inside the FinSAC report as well, right? And show who affect those situations. So without any delay, let us play this clip and we tune in on that.
Started it from KD9.
Yeah. All right. So guys, remember we have to sort of get rid of the music before we play the clip.
Yeah.
Yes. And so it go. So it go. We're going to turn up the thing. Yes. PNP time now. Time come. Time come. Comrades, let me greet the comrade chairman, the comrade candidate and regional chairman. Let me greet all the distinguished comrades on the platform. And I want to hail up comrades like Comrade Fenton Ferguson. We were there together. Comrade Horace Daly, we were there together. And so, welcome, comrades. Good to see all of you. Good to be with you. And I want to have a reasoning with you. You ready for a little reasoning? Comrades, you know, one of the biggest items in the news recently is the resignation of the Minister of Finance. It's big news, you know. You know that? Big, big news. When the Minister of Finance resigned, the government began to crumble. And the people of Jamaica are ready for a change of government. And Nigel's resignation is a signal that the government is crumbling. Nigel come from a family of public servants, mother, father, auntie. I know Nigel well. And when you say Nigel without talking to me and my telling him to pack his bags and go, when you see he on his own, pack his bags and go, something not right. Something not right. Nigel has worked hard in the Ministry of Finance, but he's not happy because he's not seeing his work going to the benefit of the people of Jamaica. And so he says to Bro God, I gotta go. I got to go. And he is leaving Jamaica when an election is in the air. It means that he is displeased with the government of which he's a part. So if he is displeased with the government of which he's a part, what about we? What about us? So comrades, take that resignation seriously. Look at that message that Nigel is sending. Him can't come out and talk loud and say I'm not happy with how the JP performing. Him can't say that. But by his behavior, he can send a message. And that is what he has done. So if we want to sit down on the backside and understand the message and don't take it seriously, then we can't blame nobody but ourselves. Now, you know, we have a way in Jamaica where we curse politicians and we tolerate corruption. Something happening in Jamaica that has never happened before. We are in the parliament. You have some persons who are suspects. 8 of them are suspects. They have money in their account that they can't explain how they get it. How they get it? We're hearing for Busher ears, and we're hearing how they get it. Now, I want you to understand something from that. Brogard said that he was increasing, and did. That's the only promise he kept. The salary of parliamentarians. That's what he said, and that's what he did. So if your salary increase, you don't have a good reason why your bank account increase. No, it not go so. It don't go so. So it means that those 8 people who can't explain, they have something to hide. And when people have something to hide, they are suspects. He said he wanted a better quality of politicians. But yet, from the 49, I don't hear him changing one of them. Not one. So something all right. So what is our task? Our task, comrades, is to ensure that we put in the work. We have to put in the work like our comrade leader is putting in the work. He's all the way in Westmoreland this evening, tonight. And if you check social media and you check the record, you will see that this is an extremely hard-working party leader. Don't let him down. Don't let him down. Don't let him work like a slave. And we just sit down and don't do what we can do with less energy. So what I want to close off with is to say to you, the campaign is in its heights now. So don't wait and says, well, when the campaign start, yeah, man, we're going to work. Start working now because the campaign has started. And from the little experience I have in politics, I think the election is this year. Make sure your constituency is safe, ready to go. But don't just concentrate alone on your constituency, because you have friends all over the country. So I want you to talk with your friends. Keep them engaged and energized. Talk with people you know. Share your concerns and tell them why, so that they can find a reason to come out and vote. Talk to Labour Right too, because Labour Right vex. When you talk to them, tell them so them can't support the Labour Party anymore. So them for stay home, them for relax at them yard. Our people must come out. So comrade, on your telephone, your cell phone, use WhatsApp. Buy some credit if you can. Ask somebody for some credit if you want. But please understand, we are in the campaign mode, and history will be unkind to us if we make Brogard and the bag of suspects go back into Parliament as members running the government. Comrade Dennis, whatever help you need from this old boy. Comrades in here, whatever help you need from this old boy, call me. I'm ready to hit the road. And when I hit the road, I am not like Jack. When they say hit the road, Jack, don't come back, don't come back. When I hit the road, the comrade said, hit the road, comrade. Sheriff, star boy, cowboy, bad boy, and stay with us. One love, one heart.
Now this one is dedicated to all of the men over 50.
There you go.
All right, you have KD Knight there, right? Giving you words of encouragement. But viewers, my viewers, I want you to pay attention, particularly in terms of what KD Knight is saying, right? Speaking in reference of Nigel Clarke's departure to the IMF, right? And if we are to consider what KD Knight said, and we have been saying it too, not only KD Knight, and remember that KD Knight, as a King Counsel lawyer, is well measured in terms of any reference that KD Knight is going to make. Whenever KD Knight speaks, right, he speaks, I would say, measurably, right? He considered all the factors, right, and all the repercussion, right, before he speaks. And here is KD Knight, right, is saying that Nigel Clarke's departure is not just a simple one to say that it is personal growth for Nigel Clarke, and it is significant as it relates to one of us, right, being amongst, you understand, the IMF, right? Well, I mean, as it relates to me, we know what the IMF stand for, right? But what KD Knight is saying, something is fundamentally wrong. And I do believe, right, as it relates to Nigel Clarke, right, a pivotal ministry, right, as it relates to his responsibility, the Minister of Finance, and coming up on the eve of a general election, right, Nigel Clarke taking away himself, right, and expose his party like that. Some things are coming very serious in the pipeline. And let me say this, people. The Integrity Commission report that being sent to Parliament, I want people to understand that within the next 2 weeks, we are going to get some significant development. And let me warn, right, the parliamentarians, as it relates to Juliet Wellness, of course, that we are not going to tolerate where delayed tactics is going to play in terms of getting this particular report that's sent to Parliament, and where we have heard, right, I mean, Cliff Hughes have now stated clearly that a portion of that report is addressing Andrew Holness' statutory declaration, which is a topical issue. Serious topical issue. It becomes front and center of the political climate. And so then Cliff Hughes, right? Whosoever informed Cliff Hughes, whether it might be Mr. Bailey, whether it might be Andrew Holness himself, right? Or whatever grapevine that Cliff Hughes have gotten the information from, because we know that the Integrity Commission investigators cannot speak, right, until it is tabled. However, Cliff Hughes, right, is coming out ahead of the Integrity Commission, right, and saying that, as it relates to the special report, that is now making reference to the Prime Minister statutory declaration. We know that the Prime Minister's statutory declaration cannot be certified. And we know that also that the Prime Minister lied on his statutory declaration. Now, my folks, let us get into what, right, being transpired here without any delay. Let us get into the document on it. Right, Integrity Commission IC report to Parliament. Right, although we had gone through this already, but we are here to break it down and say much more on these issues. Steer us time ahead. So let us just quickly run this through for our viewers. Right, here it is, the Integrity Commission, right, which we all being cognizant of this report. So we just quickly flashing through this report. For immediate release, Integrity Commission submits investigation report, ruling and special report to Parliament for tabling September 5th, 2024. In keeping with its commitment previously made to the public, the Integrity Commission wishes to advise that it has today submitted to Parliament for tabling a report of investigation and an associated indicative ruling and full ruling of its Director of Corruption Prosecutor. Now, people, I want you to pay attention to the first paragraph. What it's saying here as it relates to this paragraph. And an associated indicative ruling and full ruling of its Director of Corruption Prosecution. So what this is saying, people, let me explain it. This is saying that prior to the report sent to Parliament, it had sent to the Director of Corruption, the Director of Corruption Prosecution, and she had ruled on it. People, be aware, this is what it is saying, that she had ruled on it. And then it is suggesting that she had ruled and persons are to be charged accordingly. People, let us go back. For any of us who might be jumping over this report, let me just point it out clearly that this report, right, now September 5th, 2024, in keeping with its commitment previously made to the public, the Integrity Commission wishes to advise that it has today submitted to Parliament for tabling a report of investigation. And apart from the report of investigation, hear what happened to the report and an associated indicative ruling and full ruling of its Director of Corruption Prosecution. That means the Director of Corruption Prosecution has ruled.
We don't know what she ruled.
Right?
Its charges are known
Well,
charges, so we have to wait and hear what the ruling is. Because
So
it can swing either way.
Exactly. So we know for sure on this report what it's saying now, that the Director of Corruption Prosecutor had ruled on it. So we, for the coming weeks, you understand, we are going to get to find out how did she rule, right? Did she rule that persons are to be charged? So people, let us look, let us anticipate for the next 2 weeks coming, right? Now, a special report under Section 36, subsection 3 of the Integrity Commission Act that is associated with the investigation report has also been submitted to the Parliament for tabling. I want to ask a question, my viewers. Let me say this. I have no facts. Let me say this. Could this be one of the reasons why Nigel Clark is jumping ship? Could it be that Nigel Clark may get wind of this report? Could it be that Nigel Clark may have understood, right? I am just saying, people, as it relates to might be whether charges or no charges. I am just saying, right? Now, the foregoing document was formally received and signed for at the Parliament at 11:42 today. Hard copies of investigation report were submitted in separate envelopes on the cover of identical letters addressed to the following officials. Number one, Ms. Juliet Owens, MP Speaker of the House of Representatives. Hirai Clark, MP JP Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. Right? Tam Tavares Finson, President of the Senate, and Miss Colleen Lowe, Clerk to the House of Parliament. Let us take that away.
Before you go any further, because I heard you say must watch what happens in the next 2 weeks. Is it that Parliament has been delayed for the next 2 weeks? Because somebody was asking in the chat if Parliament is going to put off until the 17th.
Yes.
Asking us to confirm. Okay,
yes.
so there's your confirmation.
Yes, I'm confirming that. But what is important within what we just read, honey, was to the fact that the corruption prosecutor had decided, we don't know in terms of her specific decision, whether charges are to be laid, right, or not. So this is quite interesting, right, as it relates to the resumption of Parliament and where that report, as it relates to, right, whether or not these persons are going to be charged. We have seen persons jumping ship. We have seen persons jumping ship. So let us get into, right, the Integrity Commission, right, where, you know, Cliff Hughes has been speaking on this. Let us hear what Cliff Hughes has to say where that is concerned. People, let me say this. Trouble is here. And I do believe, let me say this, I wonder if I can preempt the report, right, in saying that I do believe that charge is laid. Let me say that. Now, without any delay, can we just play this as it relates to?
Okay.
Nationwide News understands that a special investigation report submitted to the House of Representatives this morning is in relation to Prime Minister Holness's uncertified statutory declarations. The Prime Minister's declarations have been the subject of intense political debate for almost 3 years. The Integrity Commission confirmed on Thursday that it has submitted 2 reports and their associated indicative rulings to Parliament for tabling. That immediately sparked intense speculation about the contents of the report. Siobhan Campbell reports.
Prime Minister Holness's statutory declarations have remained uncertified by the Integrity Commission since 2021. This has sparked relentless attacks by the opposition People's National Party on the Prime Minister. Opposition leader Mark Golding has repeatedly seized the opportunity to question the integrity of the Prime Minister due to the lack of certification. Throughout this period, the country's anti-corruption watchdog has been deafeningly silent on the matter. However, the Commission partially lifted its silence earlier this year with its annual report. It revealed that it was nearing the completion of the certification process for the Prime Minister's declarations. Today, the Integrity Commission.
All right. So, people, there you have it as it relates to, Cliff Hughes digging into, bits and pieces of the detail that is coming out. Now, as I said, could it be a situation where it is part and parcel as to why Nigel Clark is definitely lifting up to the IMF? Because going to the IMF, right? We know that the IMF has no interest in terms of developing, right, any black nations. No. And we are going to go into some evidence tonight to show that, right? So is it a good thing that Nigel Clark is going to the IMF, right? To me, Nigel Clark cannot make any fundamental, right, policy position to benefit, right, Jamaica. He can't. He's just one of 4 deputies, right? And of course, he would be the most recent of all. And as it relates to Jamaica bargaining power, you have heard it, right, that Jamaica only have a 0.1%. So Jamaica has no bargaining power. And the country that has the biggest bargaining power is the United States. Follow suit is China and Japan, which we know that we tied up there where the IMF is concerned, where Japan is concerned, and where JPS is concerned, right? So then, Nigel Clark cannot, as it relates to what, Andrew Wallace want to sell as a narrative, right? To say that, okay, since the IMF taking on Nigel Clark, right, it speak indicative of his government doing well. We are going to show many reasons, right, that, of course, again, Nigel Clark has not done well with our economy as much as how they are spreading misinformation and disinformation. Without any delay, let us show people, right, for people to understand clearly what the IMF brings, right? So for people who want to play that, right, in showing you that it is not no progressive step and that we are going to be benefited. IMF had chosen Nigel Clark as a result of his debt management policy and austerity measures. And we have seen with evidence that Nigel Clark, being there from 2018, has not paid down the country debt of $2 trillion. Has not. Nigel Clark is leaving now, right? And add roughly $600 billion to the debt. That is what Nigel Clark had done, right? Because Nigel Clark has been there from 2018 until now, servicing the debt. Now the debt reached $2.3 trillion. And that's solid evidence, regardless of how they want to wash it. Solid evidence. And that's why the people of Jamaica are seeing the inflation. You understand what they are seeing, right? People are suffering, literally suffering. So then let us get and just highlight the IMF for people, right, for giving better clarity. Let us, get into that and highlight it.
When Michael Manley and his People's National Party, the PNP, were elected in Jamaica for a second term in December 1976, all who challenged the racism and the imperialism walked tall. It showed that the country backed his refusal to adhere to the repressive terms demanded by the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. "We're not for sale," he announced to a cheering crowd of 35,000 at the National Stadium in the capital, Kingston.
As long as this party is in power, We intend to walk through the world on our feet and not on our knees.
At the time, Manley was recognized as the Socialist International's most important representative in the Third World. But this was a test case for both the IMF and the anti-imperialist movement. The proposed IMF Structural Adjustment Program for Jamaica was to be a model for neoliberalism and global debt negotiations throughout the Third World. The story of the rise and demise of Manley's battle with the IMF is rich in lessons for today's anti-globalization movement. Jamaica is a tiny island nation in the Caribbean, the home of Bob Marley, reggae music, and the birthplace of pioneering black nationalist leader Marcus Garvey. Ever since Christopher Columbus landed and mistakenly thought that he was in India over 500 years ago, the Caribbean islands have also been the object of colonialist occupation and exploitation. Michael Manley was a symbol of resistance, not only in Jamaica, but internationally. He first came to office in the 1972 election. Manley's early years in power saw a number of important progressive reforms for the population. The previous ban on Marxist and Black Power literature was lifted. Secondary education was made free and accessible, and a partial land reform policy was enacted.
Here's a video of a woman using the Wi-Fi detector to discover the hidden camera in what appears to be her Airbnb. And
the foreign-owned electricity, telephone, and bus companies were all nationalized. In January of 1974, Manley's government announced a plan to alter the system of tax breaks offered to US and Canadian bauxite companies here in Jamaica. These companies mined aluminum for the war industry, so the PNP annulled previous agreements and imposed a production levy on all bauxite mined or processed in Jamaica. This ruling, though, severely provoked the anger of the US and other ruling classes. A massive and now well-documented destabilization campaign followed. Aluminum and bauxite processing were shifted to other locations. The levy was claimed to be illegal and contested by the bauxite companies, which filed actions with the World Bank's International Center for the Settlement of Investment Disputes. Local businesses, which had gone partway with Manley and the nationalization of foreign businesses, now buckled and found common cause with their international allies. Layoffs and soaring price increases set off an inflammatory spiral that wiped out previous wage increases. Foreign capital inflow plummeted, and the CIA became involved with fomenting local political rivalries. A terror campaign was unleashed as young Jamaica Labour Party members found ready access to weapons in a guns for ganja trade. At first, Manley attempted to hold a steady course. Fueled by popular support among Jamaica's working class and peasantry, the radical Prime Minister resisted the terms of an IMF reform package. In the December 1976 election, Manley was re-elected in a landslide, winning 47 of the 60 seats in the parliament. But after Manley's refusal to adhere to the terms of the IMF, the economy was strangled by sanctions while a media campaign sent a wave of fear among potential tourists. Layoffs increased, interest rates skyrocketed, and everything from soap to canned fish was in desperately short supply. This was the limit of social democratic reform. Manley would soon prove an unreliable ally of the poor and the working class, and there would not be sufficient independent organization among the mass of Jamaican working class to steer their own course when he started to retreat. In 1977, Manley announced Jamaica's People's Plan for economic and political reform. Despite radical rhetoric, by May of that year, Jamaica had accepted an IMF standby agreement of £38 million to ease the balance of payments crisis. The IMF re-established a line of credit with massive strings attached. This line of credit was conditional on an attack on the standard of living of the population. The poorest were hit the hardest, with a dramatic cut in public spending as the leading edge of the program. As Jamaica was put to various IMF tests, repeated failures led to more and more regulation of the island's domestic economic programs. Confusion and despair spread among Jamaica's population, especially young students and the poorest sections of workers and peasants. Political violence and the fortunes of the black market soared. By the election of October 1980, the JLP under the leadership of Edward Seaga was back in office, and with the largest margin of victory in its history, 52 seats to the PNP's 8. Only a year earlier, revolutions in Grenada and Nicaragua indicated that there was a growing mood of opposition to the US-dominated market model in the region. But now, Jamaica had set a pattern of moving halfway in opposing the grip of the imperialist market and then backing down. The JLP-Seaga government was welcomed by the US as a new model of the times. This gave confidence to the likes of Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher and heralded the rise of neoliberalism. At the end of the 8 years of Manley's democratic socialism, the average income in Jamaica was 25% lower and the cost of living 320% higher. Like many social democratic governments before and since, Manley's reformist politics proved incapable of mounting the challenge needed to halt the force of global capital. But at the end of Seaga's term, Jamaica had paid out a total of £443 million to its former creditors, including £176 million to the IMF. Jamaica's foreign debt had grown to over £2.2 billion, among the highest per capita in the world. It was in this context that Manley returned as Prime Minister to lead another PNP government in 1989. Manley had abandoned the left rhetoric of his earlier government. Instead, the market was seen as a triumphant model to pursue. However, even on the terms set by the IMF, Jamaica had clearly failed to meet anticipated development goals. Rather than economic prosperity, Jamaica endured further decades of insufferable poverty. Today, even the IMF's own economists are starting to recognize the problem. In a 2006 IMF commissioned working paper, Public Debt and Productivity, Difficult Quest for Growth in Jamaica, author Rodolphe Blavy struggles with the apparent puzzle of Jamaica's low growth rates. He concludes that perhaps massive debt might have something to do with it, noting that Jamaica is among the most in-debt countries in the world. Today, we're in a new period of radical reform in the global south. There are certainly many similarities between the politics of Hugo Chavez and the first government of Michael Manley. But there are also differences. Venezuela has far more resources than Jamaica. The US is a less powerful player relative to its competitors in a world economy than 30 years ago. And if there is a strong independent movement of workers and the poor, the forces of resistance may well have a better chance of staying the course. But the history of Jamaica's battle with the IMF makes it clear that if the grip of imperialism is to be definitively challenged, it must be replaced with another system based on very different priorities. And it will be the working classes and the poor, not the corporate bosses, who will have to set those priorities. Thank you for joining me again, guys. I do hope you found this video interesting. If so, please do give it a thumbs up.
So there you go, right? And that is one of the reasons why we are here to educate. We are here to educate, right? So that people must understand when we speak about democratic socialism, right? What does it mean as it relates to Michael Manley, right? Fighting for us, equal opportunity, right, for all, through the length and breadth of Jamaica, right? Jamaica Labour Party as a capitalism party, right, has no interest, people, to develop the black nations, whether in Africa or in the Caribbean. They have no interest of that. People, you are to remember, right, as it relates to those Europeans who pursue wealth via slavery. Remember that, right? So then the message for some people, particularly those educated people, who are sending a message to say Nigel Clark going to the IMF, right? We are to be proud. We are to be proud of what? Nigel Clark madness about macroeconomics, as they're talking about taking loans, right, to grow. You can't do that. We all know that in order for a country to grow, the country has to manufacture. But this is how the IMF, right, sort of control us, because the IMF ensure that we don't have the capacity to manufacture. Let me show you where it lies. When you look on JPS, in order for us to manufacture, right, we have to do that as it relates to a cheap base energy. Whether we are going to go fully solar, right? We utilizing fossil fuel, and the IMF know this. They know that. But Japan, who's a part of the IMF, having 40%, right? And Korea have another 40%, right? And where Jamaica, right, has 19% and somebody else have 1%, I don't know who that person is. And where I need to tell Jamaica that Nigel Clark, right, was planning, you understand, to sell the government 19% shares. So what that is going to do to us, you understand, cripple us even more. What people need to understand, why Michael Mann, and that is one of the reasons why I played this clip, to show you the reason as to why Michael Manley increased the bauxite levy going against, you understand, capitalism as it relates to IMF and those greedy business people in IMF, right? Michael Manley go against them, and what they have done, you have seen that they have suppressed the country. They have suppressed the country and beat down democratic socialism. So let me ask a question here. If the IMF was key, if the IMF did care, would the IMF done that? Right? No. Also, what Japan has and Korea has a monopoly as it relates to JPS. Our electricity bill, right, is so high in cost. So then, as it relates to the high cost of energy, that will not attract any investors from outside to come in and do investment in manufacturing, because the overheads as it relates to electricity is extremely high, which now is shortening, reducing Jamaica capacity or capability to manufacture much more than what we are doing. Right? And so then Nigel Clark know that he has been affected by that. Because in Nigel Clark, right, based on his policies, will never able to pay down the debt. So people must wake up, not because Nigel Clark came out with the fancy words and, you understand, economic buffers. And when we look at economic buffers, we say that a garbage. Jamaica don't have no form of economic buffers. That where you have a commodity, you understand, heavily on the supply, that Jamaica is going to buy up many of that commodity, right? And then when it is scarce on the market, right, Jamaica have that now to utilize in the market space to balance demand and supply. What Jamaica has, so all these things that Nigel Clark is doing, this is the reason why IMF needs somebody like that. Because Nigel Clark has no heart. Right? He has no sympathy on the poor. And people need to understand that. That's why I have to show the people, you understand, for them to define IMF. Define it. So you understand that these countries, right, they lend developed countries money, right, to trap them. And what they love is a corrupted government like Andrew Holness. Don't believe that. People, let me reason with you. Don't believe that United States of America doesn't know the hanky-panky what Andrew Holness is carrying on with. They know. They know the level of corruption. But they are laughing at us. They are laughing at us. Because when something goes wrong in the United States, you'll always hear reference. Don't behave like a third world country. Why are they saying that? Because they expect the third world country to have the level of corruption that it has. And so then they can make these references. Right? That they don't need to behave like third world country. Because third world country underdeveloped, you understand, and most of the time, you understand, the leaders, right, are corrupted. Which right? Lenders like IMF, the World Bank, right? They survive and they love that. Why they love it? They love it because the leaders will have difficulty in paying the loans, which means, of course, more austerity measures. You understand? More pressure for us. Inflation as it relates to what Jamaica is facing. So when Nigel Clark is talking about we are making progress, and when people go to the supermarket, when you see a bread, right, for this week, just for argument's sake, a bread might be for $200. When you go there next week or next month, that bread that was there for $200 gone to $250 or $300, and then you hear Nigel Clark, he's saying that we're making progress. Making progress where? Where are we making progress? Right? You look, some people can't even buy a full tube of toothpaste. Can't even buy a full tube of toothpaste. Just imagine. People is buying a squeeze of toothpaste.
Squeeze and people toothbrush, that is so unhygienic.
Right? A squeeze. That is what our country gone to as it relates to Nigel Clark. That is where Nigel Clark bring the country to. That is where Nigel Clark bring the country to. And people is talking about, you understand, we are criticizing, you understand, success. That is what you call success. And in Portia Simpson time, where people buying squeeze of toothpaste. Where they're buying squeeze of toothpaste. Right? This is madness. So now I play that clip, you understand, just for the understanding where IMF is concerned. Let us go to 1B, here down 144.99, Jamaica Finance Minister.
Okay.
So we want to play the Finance Minister, right, and listen to his bullshit that he's talking about.
With the announcement from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, that Jamaica's Finance Minister, Dr. Nigel Clark, has been picked to become one of its deputy managing directors.
He is set to assume the post in October. We have team coverage this evening, beginning with Javon Keys.
Very excited that Dr. Nigel Clark is going to join our senior management team as a deputy managing director.
So I know that most people think the IMF is a bank that is here to help poor countries and help Jamaica, right? But so that you get a better understanding of what the IMF does, watch this video.
The IMF comes in to a third world country and wants to nationalize it or build infrastructure, or there's aid packages. These aren't aid packages, these are loans. So what do you collateralize for that money? You collateralize human energy, you collateralize land, you collateralize nationalized assets, and if you don't pay back your loan, which is impossible for most countries to pay off because they can't print dollars, then you have to enslave your people, you have to give up your land, and you have to give up your resources. The reason fiat is a scam is simply because you're creating something out of nothing and you're exchanging it for things that are real, and you're adding interest rates, which especially in places like the Middle East is considered haram. And what you're doing is you're stealing from the people through inflation and through the devaluation of currency by printing more money.
So now you get the picture. And apparently the IMF saw something special in Nigel Clark. So much so that them decide that they want him and feed them corrupt team. So to make it simple, Nigel Clark was playing the game so well that the IMF decided that he was well suited for this job. And Nigel Clark, being the finance minister of Jamaica, the man who's supposed to, lead Jamaica out of financial difficulties, gave up his job so that he could join the IMF, which shows you that he not really care about the welfare of Jamaica. So in essence, what he did was quit the job of finance minister so that he can serve the oppressor even better and help to oppress the poor. You understand? You can't say it a better way. You understand? That is really what he did. So when we tell you that these politicians don't have your best interest at heart, you know what I mean? There should be no argument. You understand? When we tell you that voting does not help our people, this is a prime example. Because if your politicians got the chance, you know what I mean, to get a better opportunity for himself, enrich himself, he will take it. You understand? And clearly he choose the IMF over Jamaica. And as we said, it must be that a corrupt institution.
Okay. So basically what he said there, that of course the IMF would have interest as it relates to Nigel Clark, right, obeying all the austerity measures, right, putting the pressure on Jamaican people, suppressing them to the core, right, and where it has, reached. Someone told me that, a sweet pepper, a peg of sweet pepper is what, over $1,000. No, this is crazy. I wonder if this is really true, right? But this goes to show you that Nigel Clark, right, taking a jump to the IMF, right, definitely has no incentive to Jamaica, to help Jamaica, right? Nigel Clark has been selected as it relates to the austerity measures. Now, what you think, Michael Manley, and this is what you're going to use, right? And look into what I am saying here and all those clips that I am playing. Why Michael Manley increased the levy, right? Michael Manley increased the levy so that the Jamaican people can be benefited from it. People, I want this to make sense. The reason why Michael Manley, right, increased the levy, right, was that Jamaicans need to get the benefit of that. Now, here is Michael Manley, increase the levy, right, and here is Nigel Clark, zero the levy. Zero the levy. The IMF is going to love him. The IMF is going to love him. This man, you understand, is extremely cruel like that. But let us ask, how much the levy was giving us when Nigel Clark removed the levy? The levy, we were getting $2 billion per year. $2 billion per year. Let us ask the question, what $2 billion can do in Jamaica? It could help, right, to buy some amenities as it relates to the hospital. Could help, right, to deal with some amenities in the school system. Could help deal with, fixing some of our bridges. So even to show you the level of wickedness and the level of cruelty, they know that they don't even have any money to fix the tri-bridge. And here is Nigel Clark in Parliament telling people that he had budgeted to fix the tri-bridge, right? They go to the extreme in sending a tractor there and ensure that the tractor overturned. And so then now you hear nothing from the tri-bridge. The tri-bridge is not going to be fixed. And yet they're coming out, right, doing all of those PRs. So I want to know at what point in time that we Jamaicans are going to wake up and know that this Jamaica Labour Party, right, they are chaos liars. They are deceivers. Not too be about it. Right, someone and she said, Shu Byron, I just came back from Jamaica last night after 3 weeks. Can you imagine, Simonish? Can you imagine? And yet now they are lauding Nigel Clark as Nigel Clark is an angel and Nigel Clark create magic and bring our economy forward. Where Nigel Clark bring our economy forward, right? Did Nigel Clark pay down the debt? Nigel Clark left that 2 trillion, right? When Nigel Clark left it, Nigel Clark left it at 2.3 trillion. So we know $600 billion more in debt. So what? So for those people who claim that they are economists, those people who claim that they are this, they have PhD, they have this, they have that, I want you to tell me, as it relates to what did Nigel Clark do with the economy, you understand, under his responsibility in terms of paying down the debt. Nigel Clark has not paid down the debt. We have been servicing the debt under Nigel Clark austerity measures, which now growing our debt. And if we are not manufacturing, right, to reduce the debt, right? But because Nigel Clark, right, there is, you know, PhD and this and that and blah, blah, the madness that he's trying to explain economic, don't touch my economic buffers, right? And macroeconomic stability and all those BS that he's telling people. The IMF is just laughing at us, right? Laughing at us. And you have a lot of Jamaica Labour Party flaggers don't even take in the time to research. I said, no, man, let us look at this. Put out the green and the orange out your head. And when you go to the supermarket, what do you see? What do you see when you're going to the supermarket? No, Andrew Wallace don't have nothing to hold on hand because, number one, we are not going down the debt. We are servicing the debt using roughly about $600 billion to service the debt each year, right? No, just look at that, right? And here is Andrew Wallace want to utilize now 100 bus now. People, him can't use Clarks again. Him can't use Clarks again. He want to use 100 odd buses when refurbish. Can you imagine the madness with Andrew Wallace? I personally think that the Prime Minister is sick. The Prime Minister is sick. Right? The Prime Minister is sick out of his head. Because number one, if the Prime Minister, right, was really good and caring person, the Prime Minister wouldn't have mixed up in what the Prime Minister mixed up in. Right? Andrew Wallace has been in the Jamaica Labour Party from God he knows when. And let us ask how many policies, solid policy Andrew Wallace passed in comparison to Mark Bolin. How many policies? I want people to look, stop the foolish critique and go and do your research. Right? Mark Bolin is one of those who passed most policies. So what I tell you about Mark Bolin? That Mark Bolin ready and work for Jamaican people. Right? And so then I don't want to hear nothing about Andrew Wallace or Nigel Clark who jumped ship. And at the same breath, they were telling the nurses, beating down the nurses, bashing down the teachers, right? That they were sellout because they were selling their country, right? And gone for a greener pasture. Nigel Clark, who had been gotten 250, 300% raise. Much more than the teachers and the nurse people. I want you to look at this. I want you to look at what I am saying to you. And let me tell you something, people. I value each time that you come here visiting Mystic Sensation because you people give us the strength. So when we come here, so I am considering myself that I am working on behalf of the Jamaican people And I love my brothers and sisters. Let me tell you something. I love my Jamaican brothers and sisters. And so then I am not going to stand here, right? And because, okay, all right, I am living comfortable. I am living, all right, you know, business with Jamaica business. No, no. We want a better home for our future. This is not about me. It don't stop at me and it don't stop at my wife. Not because, okay, we might be living, you understand, I mean, comfortable, then Jamaica business, right, shouldn't be our business. And we are here in the diaspora and we have no right to talk. We have every right to talk because you are hurting my brothers and sisters. That is what you are doing, Andrew Honest. You're hurting my brothers and sisters. You're hurting the mothers. You're hurting the fathers. You're hurting the sisters. You're doing ultimate wickedness. So then we have to speak because I cannot stand up to know that we owed $2.3 trillion in debt. And your administration, Andrew Honest, your administration stole $1.7 trillion. And here you are to show you the vampire you are, to show you the Dracula you are. Still expect, right, the fools to vote for you because you have them as fools. You have them as fools, right? In spite of everything that you are doing to them. Just imagine, 1997, you left university and cannot pay your school loan. Cannot pay your school loan, right? And you are now a billionaire. No other prime minister in the history of Jamaica, right, has ever amassed that level of wealth within a short space of time like what you have done. None. You name it. Not one. Andrew Honest. Remember, you come from the bosom of the poor. Bosom of the poor. So what's so significantly different with you? That you are so smart than anybody else. Because you believe that you are smarter than everybody else and you keep on micromanage even your own ministers, them then can't even speak over their own ministry. Your ministers cannot even speak over their own ministry. You over them head speaking. You're not the Minister of National Security speaking on behalf of the Minister of National Security. Everybody, no wonder why you have 19 office under your responsibility to show you the criminal mindset that you have. The criminal mindset, because nothing can happen without you not knowing. So you want to in every little thing, every little juggling, you in it. So people need to understand why you have all of these, because you want to sit over them. You want to dictate over them. Right? You want to suppress them. They can't even speak over their own ministry. We are here and see, even Dr. Tufton cannot even speak over his own ministry. You're everywhere, Andrew Honest. Right? The level of wickedness that you have done. Right? And yet, we know you have your demons surround you. We know that you have your demons surround you. So anytime, right, you believe that, okay, you want to send out the demons to attack people who oppose you, we know you do them thing then. You understand? People speak about you. You take your demons and you send out the demons to go and find them in them home. You understand? And abuse them. So then freedom of speech has been taken away. Right? Is this a democratic country or communist country that if someone speak out and oppose you, you believe that you are so powerful? You want to be wrong and right. You want to be strong and wrong, and no one not to speak. We see the trend that you have done, right? So you feel that you are so powerful that you muzzle the Integrity Commission. Right? Because you have your demons them to back you. Like the DPP, Paula Llewellyn. You understand? She's one of your senior demons. Right? And so then you feel that you have the strength. Right? The next demons that you have is Fitz Bailey. You understand? Because guess what? Fitz Bailey can charge him. The Constitution gave him the right. gave the police Jamaica Constabulary Force to investigate anything. You understand? And go forth with a charge. It's written in the Constitution. But what Fitzmail is doing, right? What the assistant, what is the Commissioner of Police is doing, in spite of what? Because you know what? What we want to see, because things will come to bump, the next 2 weeks, right? As it relates to the tabling of that report and if persons to be charged, the Jamaican people are going to look. The Jamaican people are going to look what is going to happen, right? Because you know that bangarang yet to come in. Bangarang yet to come, a lot of things in the pipeline to come in, right? So we are anticipating and we are looking at all the delayed tactics that can be utilized. So let me talk from now. Any form of delayed tactics you don't plan to utilize, nobody will need. The people want to see the back of you and Jonas. You understand? I mean, like from yesterday, we want to see the back of you. You understand? I say you are no good to Jamaican people, right? You are sucking the blood of the poor. You have no heart in your chest. You have solid rock stone. That's who you are. You're a dictator. You're a Dracula, right? Let us move to hear him speaking, right? Let us play.
Oh, sorry, I just want to see what else.
Yes.
Okay.
So let us listen to him a bit. Let us listen to evil a bit. Right? Because we are going to show the people some things tonight when you're talking about telling lies about the economy. Right? Yes.
Yesterday, my administration marked the 4th anniversary of its victory at the polls on September 3rd, 2020. Our stated mission was to continue the journey of Jamaica's development towards a productive and prosperous economy and a just and peaceful society. There have been unexpected shocks along our journey, which have threatened to throw us off course. In fact, our journey as a nation has been characterized by frequent, multiple, and overlapping crises. The difference with this administration compared to others is our stellar performance in preparing, withstanding, and recovering quickly from shocks, whether it was the worst pandemic in 100 years, a supply chain shock, a global inflation shock, or a shock caused by a weather event such as Hurricane Beryl. We have managed to absorb these shocks largely from our own resources. This is something that we should, as a people, reflect on. We have managed to continue the downward trajectory of our national debt, increase our reserves, keep the dollar stable, bring down inflation, and most important, continue the capital investment in critical public infrastructure such as water, roads, security, hospitals. And you would have heard Minister Vaz gloating on his 100 buses and the 100 more to come and the 100 more to come. This has never happened in the independent history of Jamaica. The critics can crow all they want. They cannot assail this fact.
Take him away.
What is a government to do other than to do this?
Only take him away. This is what we talk about. This is what we're talking about, people. This is what we're talking about. When you have someone who is so dishonest, someone who is so despicable, someone who is so bare-faced like Andrew Holness, telling Jamaican people about his stellar performance and outrightly look every Jamaican in the eye and his public platform saying his stellar performance, right? Dealing with the economy, downward trajectory of our national debt. Of our national debt. People, the evidence that we have Nigel Clark went in 2018. The national debt, Mr. Andrew Holness, was $2 trillion. Today, as we speak, it is $2.3 trillion under Nigel Clark. $600 billion had to it. And here you are. Here you are. Telling our Jamaican people about your stellar performance. Your stellar performance in paying down the national debt. Now we understand. Now we understand why you were on the campaign trail telling us at one point you grew up into a 2-bedroom house, and at another campaign you were telling us you grew up in 1-bedroom house. So I want to know how many Andrew Holness we have in Jamaica. It would appear as if we have 2 Andrew Holness, one with a stellar performance that grew up into a 2-bedroom house, another with a stellar performance that grew up in a 1-bedroom house. These are the lies and the viciousness and the wickedness that you have done to our Jamaican people. You lie to them every day. You're on your campaign trail telling them not to vote for PNP because when the PNP win, the PNP will dash poison on you. Well, Mr. Andrew Holness, the amount of poison that you are throwing, it is unaccountable. It cannot be quantified. The amount of poison that you are throwing on the Jamaican people. Let us move on and show Andrew Holness, show him up. You understand? The liar, the deceiver, the Dracula. He is. Now, let us get and show people. You hear him, you heard him just a while ago talking about his stellar performance. Let us bring up the truth to him. And I hope Andrew Holness, you are looking on. Because what he just said, no, let me put the truth in front of your face. Bring up the document. Let us bring up the document. Let us show Jamaican people the liar he is. The traitor to Jamaican people. Both him and Nigel Clark. Traitors. Here it is, people. Let us come to some sense of truthfulness. Right? The Jamaica Observer. Right? So you can't say this is misinformation and call misinformation and disinformation. Right? And this is Friday, 6 September 2024. Right? There's the date. Let me show the people on the date. Here's the date. Friday, 6 September 2024. Jamaica Observer. And let us read. Heavy financial burden. So come on. Come on, it's a stellar performance. Tufton again raises concern over sustainability of NHF. Let us get into it. Here he is. This is one of the Dracula. One of the Dracula under his responsibility. Right? The Ministry of Health can be accounted for nearly 700 billion Jamaican dollars. Can you imagine, people? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Look at it. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton is again raising concern about the heavy financial burden the government is shouldering in providing care and subsidized medications for people with non-communicable disease, such as diabetes and hypertension. This is one of your spinner. This is one of your big spinner. Questioning the sustainability of the government continued subvention. The government cannot sustain this. The government cannot sustain this because $1.7 trillion have been unaccounted for. This is why it cannot be sustained, Dr. Tufton. Dr. Tufton said allocations through the National Health Fund to address NCDs have ballooned over the years. It must balloon. It must balloon because 1.7 trillion cannot be accounted for. 1.7 trillion cannot be accounted for. With the increased coverage for 22 chronic illness, the NHF helps pay for select supplies and services necessary for treating these conditions. So we just want to make the people them know that, listen, under the Jamaica Labour Party, things is going to get worse because any subsidy that they used to get, them now go get it again. The subsidy is going to cut off for these chronic illnesses. So I'm going to read it, I'm going to show you the evidence, So who the plan for vote for JLP? Remember, we only are showing you the evidence, say it is going to get worse. Here it is, open court. The NHF budget has expanded substantially over the last 5 years. Not only because of the increase in demand, we have moved from 1 million prescription about 5 to about 5. 6 years ago to about 3 million prescriptions last year. And the dollar figure has substantially skyrocketed to the point where you wonder if sustainability, he said during this week, right? So let me ask you a question. You're a prime minister. Come out and talk about stellar performance. Take that away. Take it away. You're a prime minister to come out and talk about stellar performance. Stellar performance. I want to know what kind of stellar performance that the prime minister can have where the country is not producing as much. That now, the government is considering now, you understand, to cut, you understand, the subsidy as it relates to what used to address those chronic illnesses. Just want you to understand, people, right? This is what now the government is contemplating, right, to cut. You understand? Will not be able again to provide subsidy. No, you tell me, right? And yet, Andrew Holness is a stellar performer. You understand? To grow the economy. The economy is growing. So if the economy is growing, right, then why you are running away now from subsidizing, right, the NHF? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? You said out of your mouth, you understand? You stellar performance, growing down the debt. That's what you're doing. You understand? We don't see no manufacturing going on for you to grow down the debt. You understand? So let us juggle on further. Let us go to Radio Jamaica. Opposition question implication of revenue shortfall and budget. So when time to come out and promise things in the budget and can't fulfill it, you understand? Because remember, the amount of money you people rub up, you understand? Let me get to this doesn't have the new speaker. Okay. All right, let us
it's underneath.
Okay. Let us hear what opposition spokesman and finance Julian Robinson. You understand? We like to speak, we like to listen to people telling the truth, not people telling lies.
The minister must explain whether the achievement of key fiscal targets in the current fiscal year will be compromised. Our call comes against the background of the fact that the minister has not provided any information on the $25 billion which will come from the securitization of receivables, which was announced during the budget debate. To date, no information is known as to which receivables are being securitized, the rate at which these receivables have been discounted, and who we have entered into this agreement with. The opposition is concerned that the shortfall will have a negative impact on many programs that the government intends to execute during this fiscal year.
As disclosed in my release yesterday, Tax Administration Jamaica indicated that there were significant instances of tax filings made by entities in March, but without payment within the required period of time. Tax Administration Jamaica will therefore be following up. Until that happens, it would be premature to announce with certainty any definitive adjustments. Suffice to say that the government of Jamaica has options. There are revenue possibilities and expenditure adjustment opportunities that have not yet been factored in.
Now, remember people. Yes. So when we look at this, what I want to tell Jamaican people, right? That is not going to be addressed as it relates to the budget shortfall because Nigel Clark, right, is running away, right? So these are the situations that we talk about, right? And so then when he got up in Parliament and he speak about receivable securitized, right? And Julian is asking him to explain. He cannot explain it. He's saying to Julian that he doesn't want to speak on it, right? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? So he just speaks certain things out of his mouth. And when people ask him to, okay, identify these receivables, identify them, right? He doesn't want to identify them because that is Nigel Clark. That is Nigel Clark for you, right? And yet, Andrew Warner is talking about stellar performance. Now, let us show the people what is happening with the economy. You understand? As it relates to what Andrew Warner stated there. Jamaica economy. Okay. Let us now show what is happening. Right? So none of what Andrew Warner is speaking about, right? Yeah. Bear any truth. Bear any truth, any at all. Jamaica economic growth flattens in June quarter. And this published Wednesday, September 4, 2024. So I'm showing you recent stuff here. The Planning Institute of Jamaica has reported that the economy remained relatively flat with an estimated growth of 0.1% during the April to June 2024. We're not even going into the detail. Take that away. We are only showing, right, that contrary to what Andrew Warner stated about his stellar performance, right? You're seeing something totally contrary to what he's talking about. Now, let us, because I want to address something. I want to address something. Because we have seen people pushing, and I'm wondering how many times I have to speak on this topic. And it relates to FinSAC. That the Jamaican Labour Party somehow want to take the burden of FinSAC and put it on the People's National Party. But how ludicrous it is that the Jamaican Labour Party claimed that, okay, they are going to investigate the FinSAC. They budgeted money to investigate the FinSAC. And when they investigated the FinSAC, and the investigators completed the report, the result of the FinSAC investigation, the GLP doesn't want to release it. So then let me ask for persons who are talking about FinSAC, why you don't ask your government to release the report if you believe that the People's National Party, right, caused FinSAC, right, and the Jamaica Labour Party, they had done the report, they had done the investigation, completed the investigation. Why not tell them, right? Because Nigel Clark run away, left that to you. Nigel Clark is leaving that to you. And the FinSAC report, right, had completed and they sit on it. But ask yourself why? Why they sit on it? Because they don't like the findings as it relates to what the investigator found. So then since I have it, as it relates to WikiLeaks investigation. But first, let us show you how they continue to spread their propaganda. Now, let us go to spark of financial crisis. Let us show you how they continue to spread their propaganda.
The financial shock which began in 1991 in Jamaica, ballooned unchecked over the next 5 years until it exploded with a catastrophic bang in 1996. The explosion left shrapnel scattered over the financial landscape, which still impacted on the economy so many years later. Sister Valerie Dixon is a survivor of that shock that the observer talk about, a survivor of the government's response to the financial crisis of the 1990s. And she has, as we have said, written her book, Too Black to Succeed, the FinSAC Experience, on the phone lines. Lady President of the UNIA Kingston chapter, educator, author, entrepreneur, and grandmother. My sister Valerie Dixon,
So what I want to bring out this morning is that a lot of people do not understand where this thing came from. And I want to just read a little from an appendix that was written in the Observer some time ago. It says, when Omar Davis, then PNP finance minister in the 1990s, began the process of dismantling the Central National Bank, it was done immediately after the Don Crawford-run entity had bought a significant sum of US dollars at a few dollars more than the price that the official exchange rate indicated. The bank did nothing which other banks were not doing in a time when an inept PNP government was struggling with managing a market economy which it knew little or nothing about. What the sale of those dollars did was reveal that the very same finance ministry was covertly, that means underground, dispatching agents with huge sacks of cash in the trunks of their cars to buy US dollars at prices above the official exchange rate. The money was stolen eventually. With blood rushing to its head, when this action was revealed, an embarrassed PNP government set about withdrawing public funds from the Central National Bank, making it publicly known. And in the process, it started or triggered a run on the bank, which was seemingly designed to end its life. That, however, is a sad history for the most progressive bank existing in Jamaica at that time. So if you withdraw money from the most progressive bank at the time, what do you think is bound to happen? It is going to trigger what is known.
Okay. So my Jamaican people, right? When we listen, right, to these people who obviously totally oblivious, right, of the truth, and they continue, right, with the mayhem of lies and deceit, disinformation and misinformation, right? And this is where it is critical for people who want to know the truth. And all of that is lie. So if, in terms of what she said, that it is the People's National Party, right, who had created the mayhem and the catastrophe. And of course, now you have the Jamaica Labour Party who had investigated it, right? And the result came out to the Jamaica Labour Party and they refused to release it. So my lady, let me show you the truth of the FinSAC, because I know, right, that you have spoken nothing about Edward Seaga. Because maybe you want to say Edward Seaga was a PNP, right? The last time I know that Edward Seaga, right, is a JLP, right? But maybe you want to tell that lie too, that Edward Seaga is a PNP. Anyway, let us get into the truth. Right? Let us get into the WikiLeaks cable, right? And to show it, because you keep on spreading it. And each time you keep on spreading it, we are here to wash out the lie. Now, Here it is, people, WikiLeaks, right? Date 2005, October 28. Right, let us get into it. Jamaican banker. Summary, let us get into the summary one. Dan Crawford, former head of the failed Central National Bank, has lost his appeal to the Privy Council following a 1999 conviction in civil court for financial fraud. Let me ask this lady, who you think brought Dan Crawford to court? It is the People's National Party take him to court, right? It is the People's National Party took Dan Crawford to court. So I want you to get that information straight into your head. Let us read on. And has been instructed to repay about $45 million to the government of Jamaica, which was the People's National Party. People's National Party brought him to court. So stand up and get the truth. Although the Director of Public Prosecution has made a ruling on whether criminal charges will be filed, that ruling has not yet been made public. Crawford, who resides in the US, was once the darling of the Jamaican banking sector. He was often lauded by the government of Jamaica officials for his foray into non-banking areas at a time when investors were shunning the productive sector to benefit from the high interest rate regime. However, Crawford Bank, which made a number of loans to connected parties, right? Number of loans. So get that in your head. That is what Dan Crawford had done, right? Issuing unsecured loans to his friends, which made a number of loans to connected parties, was soon to face a liquidity and solvency crisis and had to seek assistance from the state. So you hear that? Has to seek assistance from the government. Recognizing the extent of the deficit, and before I go any further, remember that Dan Crawford was a JLP. He has nothing to do with the PNP. Dan Crawford is a JLP supporter. The authorities took control of the bank and eventually charged Crawford for financial fraud. It is widely believed that his close affiliation with the opposition Jamaica Labour Party. You hear that, miss? Did you hear that? Let me read it over again for you to hear. It is widely believed that his close affiliation with the opposition Jamaica Labour Party did not help his cause, as no other bank has been charged. Crawford lawyers are in the process of discussing payment, which, if made, would provide a much-needed windfall to the cash-strapped government of Jamaica. Right? End of summary number 1. Let us move to 2. The UK-based Privy Council on October 10 ruled that Dan Crawford and former top executive of the failed Central National Bank, right, must pay the government of Jamaica an estimated $45 million in principal and interest for unsecured loans made ahead of the bank collapse in 1996. The Privy Council is expected to announce the final amount payable to the state when it hands down its written judgment later this month. The Privy Council's ruling arose from the appeal of a March 1999 decision by Jamaica's Chief Justice Leslie Wolf, in which he berated the actions of Crawford and another top executive, Capel Williams, who he described as rogue bankers. They were busy helping themselves to the bank funds, Wolf said in his judgment at the time. These payments constitute a misapplication of the bank funds. However, Crawford, who reportedly resides in Atlanta, was once regarded as a model banker, and government of Jamaica functionaries viewed his bank as a blueprint. Crawford was often lauded by the government of Jamaica officials for venturing into non-banking areas such as real estate at a time when investors were shunning productive investment to benefit from the government of Jamaica high interest rate policy. Ironically, it was Crawford's foray into non-core activities which was partly responsible for the bank's demise, as a number of unsecured loans were made to connected parties to finance these investments. In particular, the bank made loans to companies owned by Crawford. People listen, Crawford is mother and former opposition leader and Prime Minister Edward Seaga. The last time I checked, people, Edward Seaga has nothing to do with the PNP. Let me read it over for her. In particular, this is what caused the collapse. The bank made loans to companies by Crawford, his mother, and former opposition leader and Prime Minister Edward Seaga. They are all Jamaica Labour Party, right? People. Nothing to do with the People's National Party. One such loan was made to an affiliated company to construct over 700-room Renaissance hotel. The unsecured loans to connected parties took a toll on the liquidity and solvency of the bank when they could not be financed. Take that away. So now, when you are here spreading propaganda, the Prime Minister mentioned of stellar performance is not for the poor, but is rich cronies. Exactly, Pastor Ricky. So when you are here spreading your rumor, right, that PNP caused FinSA, right? Now you understand who caused FinSA, and now you understand why Nigel Clark sits in that report. Doesn't want to reveal the report. So if the Jamaica Labour Party have the got you moment, right, and where now the FinSA report has finished, has completed, why not reveal it, right? But it goes to the level of corruption, and now we are going to get into deeper corruption where Andrew Wallace is concerned, and where it is a usual thing for the Jamaica Labour Party, right? Not now. That's what they used to. That's their MO, right? Robbing the treasury, right? Doing all sorts of things to poor people, suppressing them, right? Jamaica Labour Party, the capitalist party, known for that. What they do, right? Now, let us get into some serious corruption and show Jamaican people, because we have to educate our people that this coming general election, what I am telling you now and showing you, right, must build on the premises for you to make your informed decision. Before I get into these areas of truth that I'm going to get into, we all know very well how Michael Manley felt proud in terms of creating NHT, the National Housing Trust. You understand, for poor people. But as time progressed, particularly under the administration of the Jamaica Labour Party, you are going to see what the NHT has now come to. That poor people cannot afford, right? Cannot afford to process a loan from NHT without partnering, right, with other family members. Some 2 or some 3 of them have to be partnering, because it's out of the reach of the poor people. But I'm going to tell you a little history about NHT. Now let us get into the first history. Battle over NHT funds begin court case. Let us get back to the NHT. Now here it is, people. Battle over NHT funds begin. Court case commences over PNP decision to extract $46 billion. And let me explain it before I go in, get into it. Now you remember that Bruce Golding had damaged the economy. And the IMF, right, decided that they are not going to deal with him. And because of Jamaica flatline, economy was flatlined, Portia Simpson took over the government 2012. And as a result of the economy and the state of the economy, Portia Simpson has to go on her knees to beg the IMF for some funding. Portia Simpson has to decide to take on those austerity measures that we are talking about. And those austerity measures were very much brutal with the PNP, under the PNP government, where Portia Simpson concerned and Peter Phillips, where the IMF expected for them to fail. But Portia Simpson, right, hung high in terms of utilizing the austerity measure to shape Jamaica, right, economy back into progress. And so then what Portia Simpson had to do, because they need to have certain amount of money in the reserve before IMF could process the loan. So this year, what you see here, battle over NHT funds begin, court case commence over PNP decision. It is the GLP took PNP to court because the PNP put $46 billion in the treasury, right? In the surplus. There. Now, so let us look. The Supreme Court is today expected to begin hearing a legal challenge to the decision of the Portia Simpson Miller administration 4 years ago to tap into the coffers of the National Housing Trust, NHT, for $45.6 billion in budgetary support. Yes, to support the budget, right? So Portia Simpson has to take $46 billion, right, to put into the budget before we can get the loan. Through an amendment to the NHT Act 3 years ago, the previous government got the green light to withdraw $11.4 billion from the trust annually, starting in 2013 and ending this financial year. However, self-employed St. James businessman Fitzroy Fagan, through his attorney, has asked the court to declare the National Housing Trust Amendment Special Provision Act 2013 void. Fagan, who claims in court documents that he has contributed to the NHT for 22 years without receiving a benefit, also wants the court to find that the multi-billion-dollar withdrawal constitutes a deprivation of his property that is in breach of the Constitution. In court, the second defendant, NHT, is holding the contribution of the claimant and other contributors and trusts. Those contributions represent the private property of the contributors. It is a breach of the trust for the board of directors of the second defendant to hand over the funds and trust to the third defendant, the Minister of Finance. Fagan claimed in court documents obtained by the Gleaner. A picture for Fagan, one attorney at law told the Gleaner yesterday, could mean that the government would have to reimburse the NHT the $45.6 billion. They would have to pay back the money the attorney suggested. Simpson Miller and Dr. Peter Phillips, the then finance minister, used a national broadcast in February 2013 to announce the government decision to tap into the NHT coffers for budgetary support. Budgetary support in the people wants to listen. The government, in taking the matter to Parliament for approval, said the drawdown on the NHT funds was necessary in order to allow the country to meet certain fiscal targets under the 4-year extended fund facility with the International Monetary Fund. The announcement drew public outcry from a wider cross-section of the society, including the opposition Jamaica Labour Party. Now, here to the people, including the then opposition Jamaica Labour Party, led by the current Prime Minister Andrew Holness. People want to take care of this paragraph, you know, because where I am going to it, I am going to show the cruelty of Andrew Holness. Now, when Andrew Holness was not in power, this is what Andrew Holness done, people. Let us read the paragraph. The announcement drew public outcry from a wide cross-section of the society, including the then opposition Jamaica Labour Party, led by the current Prime Minister Andrew Holness, which described the government action as a raid of the NHT funds. Let us quote him. We believe that the matters as fundamental as these, that is the property rights of Jamaicans, the status of the NHT, and the scope of the property rights under the Constitution, deserve ventilation before the courts. Only said after the amendment to the NHT Act was passed in Parliament. Take it away. Take it away. Let me get to the Jamaican people now. I want you to remember everything that you have heard what Andrew Holness said going against Portia Simpson, using the NHT funds for budgetary backup. Now, look what Andrew Holness do now. Remember, you know, it is Andrew Holness, opposition leader. You understand? Andrew Holness. You understand? That it out and Portia Simpson. You know? Now, let us look now. Let us look now at the entire Jamaica, locally. You understand? And in the diaspora, look on what Andrew Holness is going to do right now. People want to come look. Look here. This document. Position one. Yes. Okay. Let us look. Let us look how Andrew Holness now they deal with NHT. Remember, you know, people, him defend NHT. Now, look. Opposition wants answer about NHT deal with DEXIM. No, it is the PNP who now want answer as it relates to NHT deal with DEXIM. Make we look now, people. Remember, say Portia, right? Getting the IMF loan, right? And as a result of that, has to take the money from out of NHT to put into the budget so that we can get the loan. This is what Portia Simpson done, you know. You understand? So that Jamaica can be assisted by the funds. Look what Andrew Holness now do. Now we could go in right now, people. The opposition People's National Party, PNP, is refusing to let up as it continues to press for answers in the relation to what it calls a sweetheart deal between the National Housing Trust and developer DEXIM Holdings Limited. And people, let me tell you now, DEXIM is known, right, as a fraudist. Andrew Holness was warned in Parliament about DEXIM, not to involve with DEXIM. So let me put that out of the way, right? Now, while calling for the resignation of the Trust Managing Director, Martin Miller, this concerned a 2-year guaranteed purchase agreement the NHT signed with DEXIM Holdings in 2019 for the developer to provide 200 houses to its out of the blue development in Discovery Basin and at a cost of $2.5 billion, with the trust committing to buy the houses at a cost of $12.5 million per unit. In September 2022, the NHT sued DEXIM Holdings for failing to deliver the houses despite advancing the company's $650 million and alleged that the developer was selling units assigned to it. The matter was heard in court on January 9, where the parties agreed to end the contract and came to a settlement which included the signing of a non-disclosure agreement, which prevents the NHT and the contractor from commenting on the terms and conditions. Remember, you know, Andrew Holness and Nigel Clark, right, has to be aware of this, and where Nigel Clark sign off on this, you know, people. Nigel Clark sign off on this. No. At a press conference at the West Kingston House Road office of the opposition leader in St. Andrew on Wednesday, spokesperson on housing and sustainable living, Senator Floyd Morris, proposed the sacking of Miller as he raised concern about the arrangement. The entire transaction between the NHT and DISCAIMER holding raises several concerns to the opposition and wider Jamaica community. We believe that what has taken place in this sweetheart deal constitutes a breach of transparency, accountability, and good governance. He said, take that away. Now, people, that DISCAIMER thing that I show is just the scorch of the fire or Andrew Holness damage NHT, right? As it relates to Nigel Clark sign off to give Andrew Holness friend. You understand, all that money. You understand, to build houses and no house no build. But Andrew Holness and Nigel Clark did worse than the DISCAIMER. Did worse. That's why I just play the DISCAIMER as a precursor. The DISCAIMER as a precursor. Let me tell you what Nigel Clark and Andrew Holness did with NHT money. Come, people, follow me. Now, let us get to this. Let us show the world. Remember, it is Andrew Holness who took Portia Simpson to court because Portia Simpson took the NHT money, you understand, and put it into a budget that is going to benefit every Jamaican people. He never take it and give it to any fraudists. Never take it and give it to any fraudists. And never take it and give it to any criminal. People no watch her. Look at what you bangarang. NHF, NHT, among public bodies with funds invested in scandal SSL. Right? Invested in scandal SSL. Let me show you it. Several public bodies have significant sums invested at the fraud stocks and security limited. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark has revealed. Clark made the revelation Monday during a press conference to address the unfolding fraud at the investment firm, which has affected dozens of investors, including national icon Usain Bolt, who don't have no respect for the man, whose account has reportedly been fleeced 12.75 million or approximately 2 billion Jamaican dollars. The massive multi-billion fraud is the biggest in the last 2 decades and perhaps the largest in Jamaica history. Clark, in response to questions from reporters, shared that, when you come look now, what Nigel Clark and Andrew Holness do with the NHT money, shared that the National Health Fund, on the look people, has a balance of approximately 740 million backside. The National Housing Trust has a balance of 238 million. Look what Andrew Holness are doing with taxpayers' money. The National Insurance Fund has a balance of 8.4 million. The Jamaica Agricultural Society has a balance of just 9 million. And the Jamaica Banana Industry Catastrophe Fund has a balance of 98,285. This is the information that has been provided to me by the temporary manager of SSL, Clark said. Provided to you, Nigel Clark, when you have to sign off. You have to sign off on this. You understand? You have to be aware of this, but this provided to you. SSL is the second oldest brokerage firm in Jamaica with more than 9,000 accounts some 6,000 of which are said to be active. All of this information, a big line of people. Big dirty lie. Let us take that away. So then, right, let us talk to our people. Bruce Golding, let us give a summary of what transpired, right, in those few clips that we showed, that we displayed. And let us now give a full detail of the summary. So then Bruce Golding went into power, right? And between the period 2009 to 2011, Bruce Golding crashed the economy, right? P.J. Patterson paid off the IMF clean. Bruce Golding went into power, right, between 2007 to 2011. And within that short space of time, Bruce Golding divested most of Jamaican assets, right? Borrow loans from the IMF, and of course, put us back in debt. And not only that, he borrowed the loan, but he failed on the austerity measures that placed out for him. So then IMF turned its back, right, on Bruce Golding government. And so then it has an effect, right, on Portia Simpson government when Portia Simpson went in 2012. The economy was going into the abyss. How can it be saved? Portia Simpson decided that they have to go back to the International Monetary Fund. And we know the history with the International Monetary Fund, right? It is not like they're willing to help any black nation as it relates to developing their nation. It is always giving you loan as it relates to debt trapment. So people need to understand that. Now watch this. The IMF set serious austerity measures for Portia Simpson. At one point, IMF did not want to give Portia Simpson the loan. Portia Simpson have to go and talk to Maxine, what's her name? Maxine Walters, right? The United States Senate. Portia Simpson has to go and talk to Maxine Walters. And Maxine Walters, you know, with her connection, did what she had to do, right, in order to have Portia have a sit down with the IMF. Portia had to sit down with the IMF, and the IMF, right, set the austerity measures and so forth. And so then it was one of the strategies that Portia Simpson has to use, right, to take money from out of the NHT, right, to put into the budget in order that we can get the loans from the IMF. The austerity measures that set as it relates to Portia Simpson government, Portia Simpson had defied the odds because they did not expect that Portia Simpson would have succeeded. And so then 8 consecutive IMF tests, Portia Simpson, with Peter Phillips, with Mark Golding writing the legislations, right, had succeeded. It was like a miracle. So when you hear Nigel Clark and Andrew Holness telling people, oh, 50 years and never before as great, they are following the policies as it relates to the committee that Portia Simpson had set up and the agreement that they have to follow after. But the point of contention that I want to get to show you how vicious Andrew Holness is and how wicked and how heartless Andrew Holness is. Andrew Holness knew very well that Bruce Golding had damaged the economy. I knew very well that the move that Portia Simpson had made you understand, was to use the NHT money, right, to put into the budget. Andrew Holness made that as a campaign slogan to run against Portia Simpson. This is how wicked and vicious this man is. Andrew Holness used it as a campaign, right, message to run against Portia Simpson and beat down Portia Simpson in the ground. Now let us bring forward, right, to Andrew Holness administration, knowing to the very fact that it is the same Andrew Holness, right, during the Portia Simpson-led government, right, is leading an action against the People's National Party to take the money from out of the NHT and put it into the budget. It was placed into the budget. It wasn't placed with any criminal friend or any friend with criminal mind or anyone who had committed themselves fraudulently. Let me get into that. But Nigel Clark and Andrew, right, having aware of what transpired with NHT, giving the money to DISCAIMER, giving, right, those persons, right, who contributing to the NHT, taking contributor funds. This was what Andrew Holness eating out on Portia Farm. But look how Andrew Holness had done worse, more serious. This is criminal. Andrew Holness and Nigel Clark, because they are aware of it. They were cognizant of it, right? As it relates to the money from NHT, put billions of dollars into DISCAIMER, right? And DISCAIMER did not deliver one house. And the money was given back to NHT without no interest. So then DISCAIMER get the money, you understand, and could take the money, maybe put it somewhere and work the money and use interest and benefit from the interest, and then take back the NHT dead bail money and give it back to NHT. This is what Andrew Holness allow his friend to do with contributor money. So if people don't understand what I'm speaking about, I am breaking it down for you in bits and pieces. But Andrew Holness' crime went further than that. Andrew Holness' crime went further than that. How far did it reach? It reached the ultimate wickedness. What I've just read out to you is that Andrew Holness and Nigel Clark being cognizant, right, and allowed NHT money and all taxpayers' money to go into SSL, which Andrew Holness and Nigel Clark know that SSL is a Ponzi scheme. Not only that they know that SSL was a Ponzi scheme, they know that SSL has affected maximum damage. In the 1995, Paul Chen Young, SSL, right? SSL bear the name Paul Chen Young and Associate, used in 1995 to cheat investors out of their money. To cheat investors out of their money. Right? And then look on the clique of men. Look at the clique of men. The Andrew Holness, the Hugh Craskerry, the Nigel Clark. He must know there are so many reasons as to why he jumped ship. So many reasons as to why he jumped ship. Right? Because things are coming down into the pipeline. Here is Nigel Clark speaking about that SSL, he was going to investigate SSL, and he will be leaving no stones unturned. Yes, Nigel Clark, you did say that. You're not going to leave any stone unturned. The first lie that you told was to the fact that FBI, as according to you, that FBI was investigating. Bitter lies to the people of Jamaica. Bitter lies. The amount of damage that you have caused the Jamaican people, right, as it relates to SSL, a laundering machine for the Jamaica Labour Party. Yes. I want to know how much SSL fund Andrew Holness administration for the 2020 general election and the 2016 general election. How much did SSL fund the Jamaica Labour Party? These are the questions that we need to ask. It's to show you. And now you are running out that you want a third term. What I provide is the truth and nothing but the truth. And so then, as it relates to that topic, which is the final topic for the night, I want to say again, a big thanks for all of you who came out as usual, right? Who come out as usual to support Mystic Sensation, right? Continue to do the work and advising my Jamaican people to make sure that we are ready, right? Be enumerated and prepare to dismiss this corrupted government. Please, right? And so one more time, let us play the clip as it relates to Margot in enumeration, reminding people. Once again, I want to say big thanks to all my viewers and my supporters, right? Mystic Sensation, love you all, right? So let us give you a reminder what you need to do, right? Play that clip.
Jamaica, your voice matters now more than ever. If you're 18 or older, make sure you're enumerated and on the voters list by the 30th of September. This is your chance to shape our future. Don't let it slip away. Remember, your vote is your voice. Together, we can make the change we need. For more information, visit markgoldingja.com/voters-guide. Let's do this, Jamaica.
All right. Let us do this, Jamaica. Once again, thank you all for passing through.
Okay.
All right, honey,
And the numbers streaming across the screen there if anybody wants to call in. And the numbers streaming across the bottom of the screen. And I just want to say thank you guys so much as usual for your continuous support. Really appreciate each and every one. It's Friday. You could have been doing other things, but you chose to be with us. So as usual, we do not take that for granted, and we try to be as interactive as we can with you in the chat.
Yes.
Because we know you spend the time to put your thoughts there. So we try and make sure that you're paying attention to what you're saying as well. So thank you so much. And to all the new subscribers, thank you so much. Welcome on board. For those who have been with us since the beginning, thank you. For those who joined us along the journey midway, thank you. And for those who recently joined, thank you. Really appreciate it. It's for a good cause, for the people of our nation. All right, we have to be our brothers' keepers, and we have to look out for each other. All right, Debbie, welcome. You are so welcome.
Yes.
All right, so we are going to go into.
Bless yourself, Barbara. Thank you for that endorsement.
Thank you guys for the continued endorsement. So we are going to go into Roger Bevan. Thank you. You are welcome. All right, so we're going to go into Jeopardy. So we're going to be playing for credit. It's $1,000 Jamaican for the person with the most points, and also 4 runners up of $500 dollars each, whether digital or flow. Pass me the orange book there, please. 876, I have to turn on back the chat to see 876 what it was. You won $500 credit, I think last week or the week before. I still have not gotten a number from you. And Reggae Girl, I'm still waiting for your number as well. And who didn't I get a number for? And I haven't seen her in the chat tonight. Brittany. So Brittany also has $500 credit to collect. The number streaming under across the screen. The WhatsApp number, you can message me on WhatsApp, number that you wanted the credit sent to, and also the name of the provider, whether Digicel or Flow. All right. So let me just reveal. Let me just reveal the template. Let me just get rid of some of these things up here. Jesse not giving up at all. Doesn't hear me. All right. Let me just share the template there. Let me just take off the logo so you can see the full screen. All right, so tonight's topics are Jamaican politics, world leaders, general knowledge, Jamaican icons, and Jamaican heroes. So as usual, someone, or you can throw out a category and for how many points. And the first one that I see is what we are going to start with. Right, so throw out a category and for how many points. And the first one that I see is what we're going to start with. Didn't I have a black ink? I'll see. Right, so those who are going to be participating, and it's open to everyone, you can throw out a category so we can start. And for how many points? You guys throw out a category for those who are participating. All right, so Lynette is saying Jamaican heroes, but for how many points? Donnell is saying politics are 100. J Mac, welcome, welcome. Blessings to you as well. Happy Friday. All right, so Don Mel is saying politics for 100. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Who is the current Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade? Of foreign?
Yeah. All right, the answers are rolling in.
Each up underneath the neck. Okay, all right, so all right, I see the answer that I am looking for, and it is who is Kamina Johnson Smith. Stay down there, sir. And that is for 100 points. So let's see who first came in with the correct response. Let me refresh. Ricardo.
Well, Ricardo.
Kamina Johnson Smith. Don Mel did put, but he left off the Smith. So Kamina Johnson Smith, and that is for 100 points. Then
100
here,
points?
yeah. Then Monica. All right, so choose the next category and for how many points, Ricardo? What for calm? Where's the noise now? Do not do that. All right, so he's saying politics for 200. Yes, the 100 baga. All right. This person had resigned or pretended to resign due to a video that circulated on social media taken on a no movement day during the Big C. So this person had resigned or pretended to resign due to a video that circulated on social media taken on a no movement day during the Big C. Name the person. What? Stay down. Welcome, Dana. Happy Friday, and you are welcome. All right, I see the answer that I'm looking for. And it is who is Floyd Green. So Floyd Green, and that is for 200 points. Let's see who first came in with the correct response. Ricardo for 200 points. Then Dunmel and Care, Reggae Girl. Guys, remember to pay attention to the spelling. I know you're typing fast, so. Look here. All right, choose the next category and for how many points? Politics for 300. I'm going to put it on the floor. The number of constituencies in Jamaica. The number of constituencies in Jamaica. Give me the number. How many constituencies are there? Oh, Nareen, you are lagging. Your internet is lagging. You need to refresh. You need to refresh. All right, I see the answer that I'm looking for, and it is what is 63. So there are 63 constituencies, and that is for 300 points. So let's see who first came in with the correct response. And as usual, you have to refresh to see the order in which the answers came in. And first on the board with the correct response is Dunmel for 300 points. Then Ricardo, Andrew, Petra, here, and that's so the Cheerful Wild Horse. Welcome, happy Friday. And Dunmel is continuing with politics for 400.
And the score as it is, Dunmel and Ricardo on 3 points each. 300 points each.
Where your brain gone? This person had their visa revoked by the U.S. Embassy but was recently returned. Everybody run out. This person had their visa revoked by the U.S. Embassy but was recently returned. Guess we'll get for good drink it. All right, I see. Is a door in here opening? See the answer. Who is Darrell Vaz? So who is Darrell Vaz? And remember, spelling counts. So I'm sure your spelling is correct. Let me just make sure. So first on the board with the correct response for 400 points, Truck Life, then Ricardo, Reggae Girl, Trish.
400 points of Truck Life?
Yeah. Lynette, Monica, here. All right, and that's how the answers came in. And he's finishing up politics for 500.
Score as it is. Ricardo and Danmel, 300 points. Truck Life, 400 points.
All right. Right. This political party was established in 1938. Which political party was established in 1938? Which political party was established in 1938? Remember, thing is what is, name of a person is who is. All right, I see the answer that I'm looking for, and it is the People's National Party. So the People's National Party was established in 1938, and the Jamaica Labour Party was established in 1943. All right, so that's for 500 points. That's for 500 points. So let's see who picked up those 500 points. Let me just refresh. Let's see who is it supposed to what is. Okay, Dunmel. And that's for 500 points. Dunmel for 500 points. Then Reggae Girl, Ricardo, Trucker, I did get what he put who is. Ricardo.
So Dunmel around the turf.
Charity Tricks Free, welcome, welcome. Trisha also got that. Lynette, Florence. All right, so Dunmel is going to Heroes for 300. He was a Baptist man and a deacon, named the national hero. Everybody run out. He was a Baptist man and a deacon. Everybody run out. He was a Baptist man and a deacon. Where am I? He was a Baptist man and a deacon, and I see the answer that I am looking for, and it is, who is Paul Bogle? For 300 points, who is Paul Bogle? All right, let's see who first came in with the correct response, because everybody ran out. Okay, Lady taking notes. Truck Life for 300.
Truck Life for 300.
Is my finger in a boss? You know what?
So the score as it is, Ricardo, 300 points. Dunmel, 800 points, and Truck Life, 700 points.
Then Lynette, Reggae Girl, Florence, Care. And that's how the answers came in. All right, so choose the next category and for how many points? Truck Life. Okay, choose the next category and for how many points?
Finish it. Don't want to finish.
Hold on, let me refresh in case. Who got the points? Truck Life?
Yeah, for 700.
Yeah, Truck Life. Choose the next category. Oh, it says his text not sending. Okay, euros per 100. And I need to check on Larry's own too. Something is happening with he can't type in our chat and he can't type in.
Why?
When lonesome chat. I don't know, but he's using the moderator one. But he says he has two and the other one is not working, so I'll have to double check. Saying heroes for 100. He is the first Jamaican to be awarded the honor of national hero. Everybody run out. He is the first Jamaican to be awarded the honor of national hero. Let me just go into studio.
Yeah, that happened when like somebody goes somebody.
Yeah, that's why I always turn off the chat. Finish. I have some unscrupulous people who are going to chat and let's see. All right, I see the answer that I'm looking for, and who is Marcus Garvey? So Marcus Garvey is the first national hero, and that is for 100 points. Let's see who picked up those 100 points. Andrew for 100 points. Then Truck Life, Dunmel, Nareen, Sue McDuffie, welcome. Monica,
How much for Andrew?
100.
100?
Lynette, here. That's all the answers came in. Andrew, choose the next category and for how many points? So contact moderator. Can't read on the phone. I have to wait until the live finish. All right, so Andrew, euros for 200. Complete this analogy. Roxborough is to Norman Manley as Dash is to Paul Bogle. So it's the name of a place. Roxborough is to Norman Manley as Dash is to Paul Bogle. I think Roxborough was where he was born, the town. So Roxborough is to Norman Manley as Dash is to Paul Bogle. So the place, it's a place. It's a town, not a parish. If you notice, it's a town that's there. The famous place where the rebellion took place, not the parish. When we were going to school and the history was taught, what is the name of the place? Not the parish itself. I'll give you a clue. The last part of it is gut. So everybody run out now. All right, I see the answer that I'm looking for, and it is Tony Gut. So Roxborough is to Norman Manley, as Tony Gut is to Paul Bogle. All right, and that is for 200 points. So let's see who picked up those 200 points. Just make sure I didn't miss it up there. Ricardo, 200 points. Tony Gut. Andrew dropped the U. And then he corrected, but Andrew edged him there. Nerine also, Tony Gut, Lynette, Trish. Typo there.
And so the score as it is, Andrew on 100 points. Ricardo, 500 points.
Sorry, Ricardo got it because Ricardo had an E between the N and the Y. Sorry.
Okay, about the 200.
So give it to Andrew. So Andrew got the welcome, Peter. Yes, birthplace, Roxborough, from Manly.
So the score as it is, Andrew and Ricardo on 300 points, Truck Life 700 points, and Danmel 800 points.
Okay, so Andrew, choose the next category and for how many points? So keeping it heroes for 400. Come down, get down. The year the Order of National Hero was first awarded by the Jamaican government. The year the Order of National Hero was first awarded by the Jamaican government. What year? All right, I see the answer that I am looking for, and it is what is 1969. So 1969 was the year, and that is for 400 points. Let's see who first came in with the correct response. Ricardo for 400 points, then Andrew, Truck Life, here. All right, Ricardo is saying we're leaders for 100, switching it up a bit. This person is the current leader of Canada. This person is the current leader of Canada. Everybody run out. This person is the current leader of Canada. And remember, the name of a person is who is. All right, I see the answer that I am looking for. No, Mystic Sensation is not the leader. It's Justin Trudeau, and that is for 100. So Justin Trudeau is the Prime Minister, and that is for 100 points. So let's see who first came in with the correct response. So I am refreshing. Okay, spelling of Andrew. So Donmel for 100 points. Then Ricardo Nerine, but only put Trudeau, spelling of Trucklife. Here, Reggae Girl, Monica, Trish. So the answers came in. So keeping it world leaders, 200. This Haitian leader was assassinated in July of 2021. This Haitian leader was assassinated in July of 2021. Name the person. Name the person. You cannot drink that.
Why not drink?
All right, I see the answer that I am looking for, and it is, I hope I don't massacre it, who is Jovenel Moïse, and that is for 200 points. The 43rd president of Haiti was assassinated on the 7th July 2021 at 1 a.m. at his residence in Port-au-Prince. And this is for 200 points, Port-au-Prince. All right, let me just refresh and see who first came in with the correct response. Ricardo for 200 points, then okay. So Ricardo, Reggae Girl, here, Monica, not all the.
So the score as it is, Andrew on 300 points, Truck Life 700 points, Daniel and Ricardo 900 points each.
Just look on the spelling. Okay, Ricardo. Choose the next category and for how many points? Okay, Jamaican icon for 400. Her son is Gary Sinclair, formerly managing director of Lime, which is now Flow, and it's a double point answer. So name the mom. She is a Jamaican icon. Her son is Gary Sinclair, formerly managing director of Lime, now Flow. It's a double point answer. Those of us who were born in the 70s, remember, I gave you a clue, Trapper John MD. You used to watch Trapper John MD?
Definitely.
She was a nurse character on Trapper John MD, which is a famous doctor show based out of the US. She is a Jamaican. She was very fashionable in her nurse's uniforms that she wore. All right, I see the answer that I am looking for, and it is, get off, you're going to block people. Who is Madge Sinclair? Madge Sinclair was a Jamaican-born actor or actress who is best known for her iconic role of Nurse Ernestine Shoup in the series Trapper John MD, not the one in Montego Bay. her portrayal as a professional nurse not only helped her establish herself as a great actor, but also led her to be an entrepreneur. And she also appeared in some British series and stuff. All right, so Madge Sinclair, and that is for 400 points. So let's see who picked up those 400 points. Ricardo.
400 points for Ricardo?
And double checking the spelling. Okay. Then Dunmel, Truck Life, Lynette, Monica, the G fell off. Monica, remember you have to put who is. Make sure it's who is. Okay. And Trisha also came in with Madge Sinclair. No, not that chopper. It's chopper, chopper, not chopper. All right, so Ricardo, it's 800 points. Give him another 400. It's a double point answer. Thanks for paying attention, Ricardo.
Him now, Mr.
May I tell you, then I see my put up candle too. All right, so choose another category and for how many points? Continuing with icons for 300. The first time 3 Jamaican athletes were on the Olympic podium at the same time in this year. So name the year in which 3 Jamaican athletes were on the podium at the same time for gold, silver, and bronze. Which year was that? You're all just throwing out something and hope one will stick. All right, I see the answer that I am looking for, and it is what is 2008. Right, so 2008. Yep. Yes, it was. All right. So that's for 300 points. Let's see who came in. First on the board, the correct response is Ricardo. Then Reggae Girl.
200 points?
Hold on. 300. Right, choose the next category. So icons for 100. So it's keeping its icons. He starred in the movie The Harder They Come. Everybody run out. He starred in the movie The Harder They Come. Everybody run out. Oh my goodness. All right, I see the answer that I am looking for, and it is, who is Jimmy Cliff? So who is Jimmy Cliff? Let's see who first came in with the correct response. Ricardo, then Andrew, Dunmel, and that is for 100 points. Then Dunmel.
100 points for Ricardo?
Clive, Monica, Lynette, Noreen, Same only want to hear the door open. Quiet. All right, we're leaders for 300. This recently retired German leader was in power for nearly 16 years. This recently retired German leader was in power for nearly 16 years. Name the person. Clues, German, retired, 16 years. All right, I see the answer that I am looking for. Known delays, and who is Angela Merkel? And born 17 July 1954, is a German retired politician who served as Chancellor of Germany from 2005 to 2021 and was the first woman to hold that office. All right, so Angela Merkel. And that is for 300 points. So let's see who picked up those 300 points. Let me just refresh. Lynette.
Lynette?
Yeah, so she's new on the board. So that's for 300. Then Reggae Girl. That's how the answers came in. All right, so Lynette, choose the next category and for how many points?
Score as it is, Lynette on 300 points, Anjo 300 points, Short Life 700 points, Daniel 900 points, and Ricardo 2,100 points.
But I get it correct, you know. True. It can go through. All right, Lynette, choose a category and for how many points? You can put leaders, knowledge, icons, or heroes. Musicians for which one? Okay, which one have 200? Do you want icons or do you want, I guess it's icons. One of his famous songs is Three Little Birds. Name the icon. One of his famous songs is Three Little Birds. Everybody run out. All right, I see the answer I'm looking for, and it is who is Bob Marley. And that's for 200 points. Let's see who picked up those 200 points. Oh, Trisha also, Merkel. Truck Life.
300?
Yes, and then David, welcome. Happy Friday. And Don Mel, Reggae Girl, Ricardo, Monica, Lynette. Lovely Dominoes, welcome. Yes, Bob. All right, Chuck Life is saying heroes for 500, so it's finishing up heroes. He was proclaimed national hero in 1975. Name the person. He was proclaimed national hero in 1975. So name the person. I said he. You see them slap me say or no? All right, I see the answer that I am looking for, and it is who is Sam Sharp or Samuel Sharp, whichever will do. So the first one I see will get the 500 points. So it's who is Sam Sharp or Samuel Sharp, and that is for 500 points. Truck Life, Sam Sharp, 500 points. David Samuel.
Truck Life, 500 points?
Yeah. Reggae Girl. Am I drinking tonight? Sleep. Sleep. Reggae Girl. All right, that's how the answers came in. Truck Life is finishing up icons. She was a Jamaican-born nurse of Scottish descent and has a hall named after her at a leading university in Jamaica. So name the nurse. She was a Jamaican-born nurse of Scottish descent and has a hall named after her at a leading university in Jamaica. You come because I don't want to get in trouble for cruelty to animals. Get off here. You'll sleep all day tomorrow.
It's that struggle.
Seriously? Come. Go tell her to drink it. Welcome, Tiffany. Happy Friday.
Tiffany, bless up yourself.
Look at this comment from Edward Miles. This one. All right, I see the answer that I'm looking for, and it is who is Mary Seacole, and that is for 500 points. Let's see who picked up those 500. You're not drinking anymore. Put this over here, Sophia, please. And that is for 500 points. Let's see who picked up those 500 points. Come. I get to move my hand. All right. Dunmel, 500 points. Then Ricardo, Lynette, Noreen, Monica, lovely dominoes, but didn't put who is. Name of a person, you have to start with who is. Name of a thing or place is what is, and then the answer. Bless up, Tiffany. All right, Dunmel is saying knowledge for 300. Everybody avoiding it like the plague. All right. Troops from Jamaica were sent to aid the U.S. invasion of Grenada in this year. So troops from Jamaica were sent to aid the U.S. invasion of Grenada in this year. Which year was it? You're not quite finished your tiff. I see the answer that I am looking for, and it is what is 1983. So 1983, and that is for 300 points. So let's see who picked up those 300 points. Ricardo.
300 points.
Then Monica, Tiffany, Regular Girl, Andrew. All right, we're leaders for 400, so we're going back to leadership. Oops, did I do that? This person, also dubbed the Iron Lady, was the first female leader in Europe, and it's a double point answer, so it's 800 points. This person was dubbed the Iron Lady, so she was nicknamed the Iron Lady and was the first female leader in Europe. Name the person. Name the person. All right, I see the answer that I'm looking for. No delays, and it is, who is Margaret Thatcher? Margaret Thatcher was Britain's prime minister for almost 12 years between 1979 and 1990. She was the first woman ever to hold that job or to lead any big country in Europe or America, and became famous the world over. So Margaret Thatcher, and that is for 800 points. So let's see who picked up those 800 points. Donmel.
Much point?
Spelling 800 points.
Whoa.
Then Andrew, spelling's a bit off. Andrew, Monica, Lynette, very good girl. She corrected that. Ricardo.
All right. Score as it is. Lynette on 300 points. Andrew 300 points. Truck Life 1,500 points. And Donmel 2,200 points. And Ricardo 2,400 points.
Okay, Donmel is completing. We're leaders. Prime Minister of England. Who is the current Prime Minister of England? Who is the current Prime Minister of England? Sandra, beg your point, please. You have to try and be the first one to put in your answer, Rigger girl. You do have credit sitting here. Stop. And you give 800 points to Donmel, right? Okay. All right, I see the answer that I'm looking for, and it is, who is Keir Starmer? I hope I have not massacred his first name. So Keir Starmer, and he became Prime Minister on July 5th, 2024, and that is for 500 points. All right, let's see who first came in with the correct response. Ricardo, 500. Then Andrew, Tiffany.
500 points.
Let's make sure the spelling is correct. Reggae Girl, not Kira. Tiffany, oh, her phone is logging. Hush. Lynette, Monica. All right, that's how the answers came in. So we're down to one category. So you just need to put just the points that you want in. So 200. Breadfruit, Otaiti apples, and ackee came to Jamaica from this continent. Everybody run out. Seriously, Jesse? Watch it. breadfruit, Otaheite apples, and ackee came to Jamaica from this continent? All right, I see the answer that I'm looking for, no delays, and it is what is Africa? And that is for 200 points. Let's see who picked up those 200 points. Let me just refresh. Ricardo. Then Donmel, that's 200 points. Reggae Girl, she corrected that.
200 points?
Yeah. Monica, Tiffany, Noreen. All right, so he's going 400. All right. Welcome, Anthony Walker. All right, GK for 400. This dictator of Haiti was known as Papa Doc. What was his name? This dictator of Haiti was known as Papa Doc. We have baby Papa Doc here in Jamaica now. That's a baby Doc. All right, so what was the name? What was Papa Doc's name? Remember, who is when you're referring to a person? It has to be who is. Ox barbecue. Oh my goodness. Jesse. Break it. You're going to go to your bed. Who is or was Francois Duvalier? So Francois Duvalier, and that is for 400 points. All right, let's see who first came in with the correct response. Oops, hush, Reggae Girl, instead of who is, you have what is. Monica, no, you have what is. So Tiffany, first on the board with the correct response is Tiffany.
Tiffany.
For 400 points. Then you could also put what is, okay, corrected that.
All right.
That's how the answers
only
came
2
in.
points for you up there?
Only 2
So
more.
score as it is, Lynette, 300 points. Andrew, 300 points. Tiffany, 400 points. Short Life, 1,500 points. Daniel, 2,200 points. And Ricardo, 3,100 points.
So it's just 2 leaves you can read.
Put
it on low, please. Yeah. And about bit fire and then mute it. All right, so she's going 100. This is a system of government elected by all the eligible members of the population. So this is a system of government elected by all the eligible members of a population. So good night, Michelle. Welcome. So it's a system of government that is elected by all eligible members of a population, or it is elected by the people for the people. So everybody run out. All right, I see the answer that I am looking for, and it is What is democracy? So democracy, and that is for 100 points. So let's see who first came in with the correct response. Remember, I said it's a system of government, of democracy. Donmel for 100 points. Then David, Monica, oh, not democratic, democracy, Reggae Girl, Lynette. Okay, that's how the answers came in. So Donmel 100. Where is it? 100. 2,300. Get out. All right. So, all right, so that's the 500 that's left. So I'm just going to reveal that the youngest country in the world formed most recently, and it's a double score answer. So the youngest country in the world formed most recently, it's a double score answer. So whoever gets this correct is going to get 500 points, and then their overall score is going to be doubled. So the youngest country in the world, which was recently formed. You want to sleep in the stop, nick me. You mustn't stop. You want to sleep. I'm soon going to put it down. All right. I see the answer that I am looking for, and is what is South Sudan? South Sudan declared its independence from Sudan on July 9th, 2011, making it the youngest country in the world. The country is located in East Africa and is bordered by Ethiopia, Sudan, the Central African Republic, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, and Kenya. And that is 500 points that's going to be added. And then overall score is going to be doubled. So let me refresh and see who picked up all those points.
Wow.
Andrew. 500 points, and then double is overall score. Then Ricardo, Reggae Girl, Noreen, but put what is.
Okay. So
Saved by the bell.
Good comeback. Andrew, come back this one.
I need to look to see who 876 was. What is the other part of 876 name? Because that person I still owe a credit, and Brittany.
So I didn't collect credit.
So congratulations to all the winners. Congratulations to those who participated and answered. Congratulations to everyone who made the board. The game is not for the swift, but who can endure to the end. But you have to have Olympic fingers and a very good Wi-Fi. Because sometimes, because the Wi-Fi may be lagging, then your answer may be delayed.
Okay, so we have our 5 lucky winners, right? And for all those persons who participated, right? Job well done, right? As my wife said, it is the picky fingers or whatever. So number In the number 5 position, we have Tiffany at 400 points. Number 4 position, Truck Life, 1,500 points. Number 3 position, Andrew, 1,600 points. Number 2 position, Daniel, 2,300 points. Ricardo, take it away with 3,100 points. All right.
Right. Like how today on my birthday, we can't get a compliment. Says David, happy birthday, David. Hope you had a wonderful Earth Strong. Tiffany's the back foot me get credit. Oh my goodness. I put David on there.
Okay. David.
Right. Mm-hmm. Listen, Lynette, since it's better. Tiffany said all those persons who still have credit outstanding if she can get them.
If they want to give it away, you will.
Yeah, the number. Oops, Jesse, the number is on the bottom of the screen. Reggae Girl, let me put it in the chat again. It's the 1587-568-6287, Mystic Sensation on WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
So the number and also the provider, whether it's Digicel or Flow. And also 876, if you're in the chat, and Brittany. I need numbers from you guys, and also at the buzzer, we can get double credit. Oh, well, everybody ambitious tonight. I love that. All right. So, yeah, Brittany 876 and Reggae Girl. Still need to give me numbers. Oh, Tuesday was your birthday, Ricardo. Happy belated birthday. I hope you had a wonderful day. Thank you for the tambourine. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate each and everyone continued support, and thank you for continuing to participate in Jeopardy. Thank you for continuing to participate in Jeopardy. And Don Mel is reminding us that Reason with Rattigan is tomorrow at 2 p.m. Jamaican time and 3 p.m. New York time. Also, Town Hall with Wayne Lonesome on Sunday. And please tune into all the other channels that are also holding the government accountable for a better Jamaica. Support everyone. I am going to put you to bed. Wait, no, man. Rip off my finger. Thank you so much. Really appreciate each and everyone, and safe travel on the gravel, and have a blessed weekend. Bye. Love you all.